So you're looking for a new controller and you want to break away from the standard stock edition controllers that you normally get that comes with your consoles, but you have so many options to choose from and you have no idea where to start. Fear not, my friend, fear not. Today, we're going to talk about the HexGaming Pro controller that's designed for esports, and we're going to see how it stacks up against the competition. So stick around and let's have a conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, welcome back to the studio once again. My name is Cryptic, your humble gaming tech reviewer, and if you've seen my past videos, you know that my favorite kind of tech to review, of course, is controllers. You guys have seen me review the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller, probably, 3 times now? And you guys have seen me review the PowerA Fusion Pro controller. And this is also a pretty decent controller. Now, you've probably seen some things popping up on YouTube. Some of your normal tech reviewers are doing these reviews on these HexGaming Power. Wow, what the kind of name? The HexGaming Elite. No, that's still not the name. The HexGaming Esports Series Pro controllers. Now, my friends over at HexGaming actually reached out to me because they've seen that I like to review these types of products, and they wanted me to do a review on their product as well. And before we get started, I do want to let you know that no matter who reaches out to me or what the product is, I will always be giving you my 100% truthful, honest review on how I feel about these products. And today, we definitely have some things to talk about. Let's just leave it at that before we get too deep into it. But I do want to thank the people over at HexGaming. Their customer service has been wonderful in communicating with me and just giving me the opportunity to go ahead and do this review for you. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. So starting with the unboxing. My first impressions after getting everything unpackaged and seeing how neatly put away it was, it's a very simple, clean design that they have for their packaging. There's nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. The PowerA Fusion controller actually comes in this massive box that has all these designs on it. It looks like graffiti and it's pretty cool, but they just kept it nice and restrained when it comes to the HexGaming controller, and I don't mind that at all. All I care about is the product. The packaging is probably going to get thrown away at some point anyway. So once you get everything all opened up, this is where I started to get a little bit disappointed. I'm not going to lie. When I was looking at some reviews for this product before I even got my hands on it and before I decided I wanted to see if I wanted to review it, I saw that some other creators were actually getting cases with their controllers. When you pull this out of the box, all you see is that you'll get your Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller, whichever one that you want, and you'll get the risers. They'll be tucked off on the side in a little compartment. And then you get the information booklet on how to map the buttons and a 6-month warranty. And that is it. Now, I got a little touchy about the carrying case issue because this controller is listed for $185 base price. Now, the Elite Series 2 is $180, and that has a lot, and I mean a lot, packing behind it. Now, getting to the controller itself, the controller is absolutely stunning, and I chose the Great Wave, which is one of their premium standard editions that come already pre-customized. So I didn't want to get too fancy with it. I just wanted to see what the controller actually did, but this one definitely caught my eye, and it was just such a nice experience taking it out of the box and looking at this nice premium finish that you have on the front faceplate. It feels great. It is a little slick to the touch, which does concern me, but you do have an option to choose a textured grip for a little bit more money. And otherwise, you can completely customize these controllers all the way down to the bare bones. It's completely insane how well you can control exactly how detailed you want to get with your customizations. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of options on their website for you to change all the little details. And of course, going through this process, my first thought was, how does this stack up compared to the Scuff Prestige Xbox controller and how you can customize that out? And well, when you start off with this price, the base model of the controller itself is at $139.99, and then the default patterns, which is the one that I got, is $185.99, and then all the way completely changing every single detail that you can at max, it came out to $205.99. So that's actually really, really good. It starts off with like maybe $12, $13 to change the faceplate, and then everything else is about $2 to $3 per customization that you throw on there. And now when you look at the Scuff controllers, those start off at about $181, and then there are some just completely base models that you can get for $169, but with a full custom kit, it's $245. So HexGaming is definitely winning in the price department when it comes to getting a nice masterpiece of a controller when it comes to customization, and I really appreciate that them for that. And I do also want to take a moment to note that Scuff also does not send out a carrying case with their controllers unless you buy the players pack. So the case not coming with this HexGaming controller, I can forgive a little bit, and I mean a little bit, just because it is one of those custom controllers. I did reach out to the department and I let them know, hey, why aren't you guys doing this? And they did tell me that they chose to just stop sending out those cases, which I think was a bad move on their end, because like I said, I've seen a lot of reviews. People are going to see other reviews and they're going to see those cases and they're going to expect to get a case with their controller, and it's going to cause them a little bit of backlash, but it's all right. We'll just keep on moving through it with the actual functionality of the controller. So after I got past the first impressions and we started to look into some gameplay, the controller itself, it's very light, which caught me off guard a little bit. I thought it was because it didn't have any rumble packs in it, but it does have rumble packs. It's just a very light frame controller. Now, as you guys have known, I like to use control freaks on my thumbsticks. I don't ever like to use the stock risers for the controllers that they come with, because control freaks are just a lot more grippy and they feel a lot more solid, and I never have an issue putting them onto any controller until I got this controller. This actually has thumbsticks that are too big for my control freaks and they don't sit on there properly, so I'm stuck using the actual risers that came with the controller, and they're not as grippy as I want them to be. They're pretty slick. You do get 2 concave and 2 convex risers, and they're both a high and a low version of them. I usually play with a convex high riser on my right stick and a concave low riser on my left stick, and that is, or whoa, actually that's backwards, convex on the left stick and concave on the right stick. But either way, these thumbsticks just aren't, they feel a little bit wily whenever I was playing with them, and I'm gonna have some gameplay up in the background and you guys will see that I do kind of have to do a little extra movement with my hands, or at least with my thumbs, to keep everything under control. I felt like I just couldn't really get my hand on the thumbstick, and that the right riser was just a little too high than what I'm used to, just because I wasn't using my actual control freak thumbstick riser. So that was just something that I wanted to note for anybody that does also like to use control freaks like I do. But if this is your first pro controller experience, you should be able to adapt pretty well. That's pretty much the main thing that comes with getting a different controller like this, is that you just have to learn the new muscle memory that comes with your controller. Now, another thing that I kind of docked points for was the fact that it only has 2 mappable buttons on the back. You can map any button on the front that you want to, and you can already do that in the Xbox menu options, but the 2 back paddles are okay. They have a natural grip to them. When you put your hands on it, you naturally throw your middle fingers right on top of those paddles, so that's not really a problem to me. My problem is that I need more paddles. Whenever you're looking for a pro controller, the one thing that you want to do is eliminate how many excess movements that you have to do to get the job done for whatever game that you're playing. Now, I do give them points though for how comfortable it is to hold this controller, and you'll probably see that there are some different paddle types that you're not going to agree with, that don't make your fingers feel weird. Like, for instance, the, in my opinion, atrocious the atrocious paddles that are on the back of the Prestige controller from Scuff. Those are vertical. They're straight up and down. I don't like the idea of having to reach over another button to hit another button. So I like this lateral layout of the back paddles, where each button goes off to the left or right, and you can just kind of assign a finger to it. And once you get used to that, it doesn't really become an issue anymore. You just start to play the game and everything becomes natural. It almost comes as easy as breathing. So that is pretty much it for the functionality of how, or at least the form of the functionality. Now, when it comes to the actual gameplay of the functionality, Now, that's where I started to run into some issues. I'm not going to lie to you guys. When I had the first controller, and I say first because yes, they actually sent me out two, because the first controller had an issue where the left bumper was mapped to the home button. So every time I wanted to press left bumper, it would pull up my Xbox dashboard, or it would pull up the Xbox home screen. So that was an obvious problem that makes that button completely unusable. And of course, I couldn't map the left bumper to any other button that I needed because I don't have enough options in the back. So I only have two options, and if I had to choose two, I would choose the weapon switch, and I would choose my jump button. The LB button was just locked up, but I did get in touch with the customer support. They sent me out a brand new controller again, and they actually did it very quickly. They got it to me within the end of the week. So that was pretty awesome when they're in. They did that pretty fast. I did want to mention that on the next controller though, as you would get with any trigger stops, and they do mention this on their website, if you are doing a pressure sensitive activity with your triggers, so you pressing the gas pedal for any racing game, or like I'm going to show you in some footage here, if you are moving a vehicle of any time and you're using it for the pressure sensitivity of that, if you have a trigger stop on, it's going to stop that vehicle, and it's not going to let you go as fast as you want to. So you have to kind of be knowledgeable of that. You may have to adjust your trigger stops. Now, my problem with the trigger stops is that there's only two different buttons. You only have two different levels. It's basically on or off. That's basically how it works. That's all you got for the trigger stops. Now, they do let you bring it down to a pretty low press time when you do turn your trigger stops on. But as I was playing my game, I was finding another issue that some guns actually wouldn't fire. And that's definitely a big issue. If I can use my trigger stops to fire faster, then that's the point. But if I use my trigger stops and my gun doesn't even register sometimes, then I'm gonna just turn them off, which means that's a waste of a feature on this controller. I don't see myself using this as my daily driver controller. That's my honest opinion. It's mainly probably going to end up being a showpiece that I'm going to have on my shelf that's just going to look pretty. And if I have a guest over or something, they can use that controller, and they maybe can get a little extra advantage on them. It's all going to be up to how you game and how you want to be using this controller. That's pretty much it. I would definitely say that the price range is also going to be a problem whenever you come to getting new customers. It's just, I cannot justify with the other options that I do have and spending $180 to $205 on a custom controller, especially if the functionality isn't going to meet up to standards. If I'm going to do that, I might as well get an all black Elite controller. I might as well get a second one, because it's just, you're not getting as much bang for your buck when it comes to the competition. That is all that I have for the HexGaming controller review. This is the HexGaming Blade controller. It's very, very beautiful. It's an awesome looking controller, but there are just some functionalities that are not sitting well with me. So let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. We are here to have an open discussion. Have you guys picked up one of these controllers? Do you want to get one of these controllers anyway? What kind of customizations are you going to make to it? And as always, your viewership is greatly appreciated by me. If you like this video, leave a like. If you like my channel, go ahead and subscribe. I do have other videos on some other controllers that you just might be looking into. And I do like to do tech reviews as a passion of mine. I like to make sure that we're holding these companies accountable on behalf of the consumer, because we should. Nobody should be getting screwed over out here. So as always, my name is Cryptic. Links to my socials are in the description down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.